takes to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
Mr. Goodnight Bottom made a twisted steel supersonic sex appeal.
And our very special guest today from Crossville, Tennessee.
Hey, guys.
You can say your name?
Billy Wayne Davis.
Yeah!
I didn't know. He did a rap, and then...
I like to spring it on people.
The rap master, you understand? A different one and not a variation, if you will.
I get it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
Use a man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Yep. Satellite system,
Laser beam system, I'm on a microwave system.
podcast system.
Yeah.
It feels like the American dream just passed the baton on to you.
Well, you can't always be in control of these things, but if that's the way it is, you understand, I accept that burden.
That's a cool burden to have, in my opinion.
Them's a big boots to fill, you understand? I mean,
Strong.
He was a bull of the woods, if you will.
Yes,
Son of a plumber.
Son of a plumber, came out of the ditch, 8 years old, and became so sweet. You understand?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to talk about my Yeti. I got...
Hold on. No,
Let's go to the hard issue.
Yeah, the Yeti. Y'all talking about the Yeti, and I thought we was talking about Abominable the Snowman again. But you keep talking about this coffee cup you have as the Yeti.
So I got this big silver coffee cup. First of all, dropped it on my toe. Got a nasty bruise underneath the toenail kind of shit happening right now. So one strike against the Yeti. But other than that, no complaints. It's a big cup made out of steel. And the whole reason I bought it, Billy, as we were walking up the stairs, mentioned that these are huge in the South right now. My friend Caroline showed me this picture that was in like an Auburn bullshitting thread where usually they talk about Auburn football.
Yeah.
But some guy's truck burned to the ground. Like the entire truck was completely scorched, but his Yeti cup was intact and still had ice in it after a truck fire. So I was like, I didn't know that I needed a $40 cup.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but don't drop it on your foot.
Don't drop it on your foot.
Here's
it hurts
the
like hell.
fascinating thing with the Yeti.
Yeah.
is all of it is just over-engineered. You do not need anything like that.
Right, no, of course.
It serves no real purpose.
Of course not.
Other than a redneck's ego.
Exactly. Yes. And I feel more important that I have a cup that the ice lasts for 48 hours.
If your truck burns down and you're thirsty from the experience, you can count on a Yeti to come through.
You're not going to be dehydrated. That's for sure.
Not even from a fire.
I mean, that's the selling point of everything at Bass Pro Shop. It's
But
just
that's
like
the
these
beauty of-
extreme conditions.
Well, and also
But
camouflage.
that's the beauty of what they've done,
Yes.
Yeti, is that I didn't know what it was. For a long time, I just saw the sticker, and the sticker got real popular. Like any redneck brag, it's like a... I don't know how young or old you guys are, but remember No Fear T-shirt?
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
That's
You're right in our
what
wheelhouse.
That shit on the back of trucks and everything.
Yes, that's what
airbrushed
Yeti.
on, yeah.
That's what Yeti did.
Yeti is the new No Fear.
No fear.
Yes, except for it has a product to it,
Yeah.
other than stickers and just rednecks going ain't scared and no fear. But they've over-engineered it. Like I have this vaporizer that you can put actual pot in it. And that's what fascinated me. I was like, yes, because the other shit you can't control. And you're like, well, I'm done for today because someone had a pin outside the meeting I was at.
Yeah.
But it's one of the first run. One of my friends works at the company, and it's over-engineered. And this motherfucker's never... I don't need a new one ever.
Right.
But they've since released new ones that don't last as long because they realize, like, shit, we can't make any money.
Oh, planned obsolescence. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've done the opposite where they're like, no, we'll keep this and just charge them out the ass because they think it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's status now.
Yeah. I got one for myself because, I was like, I saw the burned down truck and was like, oh, I got to have that. So I went and bought one around October, this one right here, at the REI down in Santa Monica. And my thought was... because
you get that dividend points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smart.
And my folks both, they take like road trips and stuff like that, and they like to bring, big cups of water in the car. And I was like, I'm going to get one for myself, and if I like it, that's going to be my Christmas present to my parents. I'm going to buy 2 of them for each of my parents, right? Bought my thing in October, loved it. And then the day before I went home for Christmas, I went to the REI to get two for my parents, and it was like I asked for like, you know, a blue ox or something. The guy literally
Teddy Ruxpin or
yeah,
something.
the guy
Tickle my Elmo.
for real. The guy said to me, he goes, I was like, because I was looking at the cup section and they didn't have any. I was like, oh, do you guys have the 40 ounce Yeti cups? And this guy just looks at me. He goes, oh no, that's the Furby of this year.
Was that what he said?
So get him next year.
Yeah, that's what
then.
you expect going to REI.
That's what he said. He
Well,
said,
you know, we
It's
got to
the-
get Frank one of these Yetis because he's
Yeah.
carrying around these old McDonald's cups and KFC
How
cups.
much was the 40-ounce Yeti Furby?
This was $40.
$40.
Yeah, which,
$1 an ounce.
which, like I said, it's actually a 30 ounce. I misspoke. Yeah, it's a 30 ounce. And like I said, I didn't know I needed a $40 cup until I went home. I went back to Alabama, and somebody was like, "Oh hell yeah, dude!"
How
well-
much, if that thing is $40, how much is a cooler?
Oh, the coolers are like $500. They're ridiculous. Like
What the fuck?
the Yeti cooler. No, this is light. Like Yeti is You're absolutely right. The rednecks love this shit because it's like
I go to Alaska once a year, and they need it up there because they go out into the wilderness.
yeah.
And need to bring
I was
it
like,
back.
that sounds like space shuttle type.
It is.
Yes.
It totally
Survival
is.
But in
shit.
the South, they don't. They're not going that deep into anywhere.
Never. No.
Because they'll come out the other side somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where there's a fucking gas station.
Yes.
Yeah. And
They don't need. They can haul their deer or whatever to the gas station
Totally.
with no car. Oh my god.
Well, it's that conspicuous consumption good that you buy so you can be the king of the tailgate party.
Oh,
you know,
hell
you
yeah.
can like rule the tailgate party or the infield over at the NASCAR track.
Yeah.
If you
It's
have
the
your,
status associated with
yeah,
the
it's a
Yeti.
Veblen good, but I didn't know that the Yeti stickers were so big in.
Oh,
in
that's
the
a thing.
South.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a
because
thing,
like
yeah.
down in Florida, Calvin's still pissing. You know, that's the stickers that are
Well,
going
he
on.
pisses everywhere.
He's
you
pissing
understand?
on. He's pissing on Jeff Gordon a lot. I know that. but-
Yeah. Well, not anymore so much.
He's pissed on everybody though at some point, and every team
That's
everywhere.
that's the thing about Calvin is he is very hypocritical in
Yeah.
who he will
yeah,
piss on.
he'll just piss on
He'll
everything.
piss on Ford. He'll piss on Chevy.
He'll piss on Dodge.
He's just overhydrated, that kid.
Yeah,
more
yeah. He
than
just
anything.
drinks too much damn Fanta.
My 6-year-old son loves Calvin and Hobbes. We read Calvin and Hobbes every night before he goes to bed, and it's a really great cartoon.
Oh, it's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
And it irritates me to no end lately thinking about that.
Has
that
your son began
Well, you know,
asking
none of that
fucking
stuff-
assholes hijacked this cool
Yeah.
thing.
None of that stuff has been licensed because Bill
No.
Watterson, the guy who did it, the only thing he ever licensed it out for was book compilations. So all the other
Yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes merchandise, which is mostly the piss and Calvin, is all bootleg stuff.
Bill Watterson doesn't have a problem with Tony Stewart. Is that what you're saying?
No, Bill Watterson has no
No,
problem
I think
with Tony
that's
Stewart.
his problem. Is
He
like,
has
I
no
wish I
problem
could
with-
okay who he pisses on.
With the New York Yankees, I've seen him pissing on that. I mean, you name it, he's pissed on it.
He has pissed on everything. Yeah.
So who's the new villain in NASCAR? Because I don't follow it so much. I only follow what like Kevin Harvick's doing, or
don't
I
know.
stopped
I
following
don't
after
watch
Kel
shit.
Yarborough.
Yeah.
was on that episode of Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, you remember that?
I do remember.
I remember that shit.
Not a
Those
bad
NASCAR
actor, Kel.
No,
He
nobody
wasn't.
on that show was a bad actor.
and
as far as
nobody
I was
can throw a
concerned.
right hand in race car driving like Cale Yarborough.
No, nobody kicks ass at the boar's nest.
Ever since my Uncle Mike divorced the family, I don't know anything about NASCAR anymore because he was our last lifeline.
Your lifeline to you.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the wrestling thing. There's always somebody you know that follows it, and you're gonna know what happens in it, whether you follow it or not, because they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slapnuts is my boy in that. He would get me pit passes and things like that.
Yeah.
Slapnuts is his boy I know from Missouri, and he knows his NASCAR.
Why you
No,
call
he-
him Slapnuts?
That's what we call him.
No, I understand.
He
that.
deserves it.
What's the story?
Well, he's a maniac. There's volumes on this guy. I swear he's schizophrenic. I mean, he calls in with other
And he's okay
personality.
with being called Slapnuts too.
Yeah,
so that
he is.
says a lot about him.
Because his mama called him pure shit on the floor. So we just call him Slapnuts.
Yeah.
Dumb
There's a guy.
fuck.
There's
That's
a guy
another
from
one.
my hometown that he went by the name Sweetmeat.
What? Sweet meat.
Sweetmeat.
Well, that's not too bad, though.
What was
Sweet
his,
meat.
what
Well,
was
it
his
was-
given name?
I think Travis or Kevin, one of those. Like,
Too common, so you
It
know,
was-
sweet meat.
well, and it was like he wanted to get accepted by everyone. He was like a freshman, and they did some weird shit in the football shower, and everybody called him Sweet Meat, and he just like went with it. He's like, hell, at least everybody's calling me something.
Oh, see, I thought he just like loved like Panda Express or something. Was like, I love that orange chicken, man.
You got to earn the nickname. It's like the Indians, you know.
Yeah.
You got to earn the name somehow. It's probably best left untold exactly what he did in the shower, but we still remember Sweet
and there's
Meat.
a reason. Yeah, I can't remember exactly because it was like that's not. We should.
The mind blots certain shit out.
We shouldn't all accept this. Oh, so the principal's calling him Sweet Meat now? Okay.
Principals.
You know what I mean? That's how that stuff happens.
Oh yeah, totally.
We had a principal, we called her Old Gravy Legs. And then we had this senior breakfast, and we had a senior breakfast, and she walked up to me and my buddy, and just and she looked at the spread, and she goes, "What? There ain't no gravy here?" And I was just like, "Oh my god, she knows." 'Cause she had no idea, like no idea. She's just she's just that character. She was like, "Where's the gravy at?" I'm like, "Oh, this bitch doesn't." Oh my god. She's great though. You could get her like on assemblies. I remember somebody got her to say Joe Mammy because it was like that where you signed up for classes, you know, when you go around to the different places. So you had these cards.
Yeah.
So someone would just fill one out and it said, and she'd be like, "Joe Mammy, you lost your card, Joe Mammy," and everybody giggle. And then one time somebody just did it, and she was like, "My cunt." My cunt. And my jaw just dropped, and I was like, oh, I can't even.
It's real easy to get one over on Gravy Legs.
It was. It was like, it almost to a point where, like, this isn't fair. We should stop.
Pat could have had a field day with her.
It just didn't feel right after a while.
Well,
Like,
we used to, when I went to Catholic high school, they used to do the thing where it was like, you know, Lord, hear our prayer, pray for, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And they took student submissions, and we used to have a ton.
Oh, no.
And
I would write Franco
it was
down.
never anything bad. Like, it was always very innocuous, but the priest was extremely, like, oblivious. So there was a few times that, you know, the school prayed for Fat Albert and the Junkyard Gang, and, you know.
where were you from?
Florida.
You ever do any stand up in Florida? We had Lisa Best in here earlier, and she was talking about.
I mean, I met my ex-wife at the West Palm Beach Improv.
Oh, really?
So,
oh, shit.
yeah, I've
Okay.
done some shit in Florida. I haven't been there in a while, actually. It's been really not. I mean, I went last year to the middle of Florida to this mud rally thing for this documentary thing I did.
With Spurlock, right?
Yeah, Freedom, the movie.
Dude, I have to watch that. I watched.
And there's nothing
preview.
more insane than mud bogging, like those big
Did you-
mud bogging rallies.
I didn't know those existed.
No, they have them. They have them, you know, throughout the state. And
450 acres.
yeah,
Jesus.
usually, yeah. There was the one that we had in our county was behind the flea market, and it was, and it was about that size. It was just all people came from counties around. It was the only time they ever leave the county. It's like, I don't leave Volusia County unless I'm going to the mud bogging.
That was a good impression.
Yeah, and they, my friend who lived 5 miles away from it, phoned in a noise complaint because he could hear the music coming from, you know, and just the engines, because these things are insane. People will come with the loudest engines you'll ever, just like cut the muffler off, all that stuff, and it's just.
No. This
Yeah.
was like in the middle, like it's called Triple Canopy Mud Ranch, and people pay $50 a head, and they bring like there was like tanks.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty badass.
It's amazing. Everyone's hammered, fucking drunk,
Well, it's the only way to drive a tank.
and then they're either on ATVs or these giant things. Like I was there, I spent the night there as part of the fucking thing, and at night it's really terrifying because it never stops.
So it's still just people.
So
mud
if
riding
you
and
don't
shit.
have like a vehicle,
You shouldn't walk through
it
there.
is like Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's
my
crazy.
I saw photos of it because the local newspaper would take photos of it because it's like the big event in the county. And I saw one thing. It was like, it looked like an ATV, but it was built like two penny farthings next to each other. It was just huge front wheels and these tiny back wheels and this giant engine just in the back of it. It's post-apocalyptic. It's just
It's
like,
all those buggies that they use for the Everglades.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like,
So they're all. I mean, you see like these souped up lawnmowers
Yeah.
to like literally $150,000 trucks.
oh my god, are there racing or is it just
There's
different,
races.
different
There's
events?
different. There's just a giant lake where people are just driving through.
This shit sounds like the real deal.
It's. I mean, pull it up. You
Okay.
can
Yeah, this is a movie or something. You
what's it
said?
called?
It's Triple Canopy Mud Ranch, but they do them throughout. This was the first time they'd ever done it there. Only one person died, which is amazing.
Only
It's
one.
amazing that only one person died.
We always have to break a few eggs. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god.
yeah, people make jokes about
That's
the
the one
gathering
I
of
was
the
at.
juggalos,
That's the one I
but
was
this
at.
is
Yeah, but this is way better. Oh,
Yeah.
that thing is badass.
Dude.
Oh, fuck yeah. Look at that.
Oh, this is nothing, fellas.
yeah. Imagine
Dude,
25,000 people
This looks insane.
and a lot more open carry.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like Mad Max, like the future.
No, it is like when we left.
Oh, look out for that
It was
guy.
like we like came out. It was like there was like everyone was shell shocked a little bit because it's just sensory overload at all times.
This is
Everyone's
insane.
drunk, so you have to be aware.
Yeah, you probably have to wear
It's-
like a reflective clothing and shit at night. You just get run down.
Well, usually no
Yeah,
one
it's
wears a shirt at these
just-
things.
oh, there's even a
Little
it's
RC
even
car.
an RC car
Yeah,
with a
it
two-stroke. Great. Oh my god.
One of the best moments was I was interviewing the organizer of the event, very smart guy, and they have these flags that they have to put on the ATVs so they don't get crushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of them are like Confederate flags.
Yeah.
And we're like, I'm interviewing. I'm like, man, I see a lot of Confederate soldiers here. Where's all the Union soldiers? And he just stopped and he just stared at me. And I was like, man, I'm just fucking with you. You don't have to answer that. I understand what's happening. He's
Yeah.
like, God damn, man. I was like, this motherfucker. I can't say that shit. I was like, no, I understand who you're appealing to here.
yeah. Yeah.
But there's no telling how much money that guy made.
Oh, it's got to be. It's gotta be.
$50 a head. It was 3 or 4 days.
Jesus.
it looks like it's worth it.
Yeah, I'd pay $50 for 3 or 4 days.
Well,
of that.
shit, yeah, I'd go to that thing, I'd be high, and I'd just be having a hell of
No,
a good time.
I don't think you could handle this thing high.
Yeah, you
like,
could.
You could?
It'd be the only time you would be like, okay, good.
I can't
Because
wait.
everyone's like literally, I mean, also had a camera with me, camera crew. So everywhere I went, people were more than willing to talk to me or scream and woo.
Yeah.
And then everyone was offering me booze.
Yeah.
Just, if I'd have taken the booze, I would have just been in a blackout like by 10:30 in the morning.
Right. Right.
And it's just, and I don't drink anymore, so that really helped. But after, like at night, I did get stoned. Like I went and walked around, and that's when people would really say things, like because they're not on camera. They're
Yeah.
like, they'd find like, "Hey, you're the guy," and I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Let me tell you, now the camera's not here." Most of this shit, people just steal from each other. And then like there's like conspiracy theories to like this land, and I hopped over here, and I'm like, God, why won't you say this stuff on camera? We can black
Yeah.
out your face or whatever. And they're like, no, man, I'm fucked up right now. She just asked me anything, and you're just like, oh, okay. So so do people go around stealing stuff here? And they're like, oh, hell yeah, that's happening right now. People get too fucked up, and people go take their stuff. And I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, probably a bunch of Yeti coolers.
Just, yeah.
But
and
you could a black market of Yeti coolers. You could
Well, I
just-
think this explains the appeal of Yeti. It'll survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's...
Oh, I'm sure they got representatives.
You
walking
have
around.
to have Yeti.
And it's that weird redneck thing that I've never understood to a certain degree. Part of it is fixing it is most of the fun. Is they'll work most of the time fixing this stuff.
Right, right.
And then they'll fucking take it out for 5 or 10 minutes and try to go as hard as they can for 5 minutes and bust the whole thing up
right, right.
and then work on it for 24 straight
When
hours.
you got a car hobby like that, you end up spending most of the time working on it as
Yeah.
it is.
No, that's what I realized more than anything. I was like, oh, this isn't about that 15 minutes to them. This is about them working, and they want to fuck it up again so they can fix it again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, totally.
That was a realization being there. I was like, I don't understand the end game. Oh, there is no end game. The end game is the journey. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah. So, well, you were just there making the documentary. You weren't doing stand up at this thing, were you? Or did you?
No, I did not.
No.
I did run into an old buddy who works for this country music singer. They were there, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and we met up. And literally, he was like, "Hey, man," he handed me some whiskey. I was like, "Oh, dude, I don't drink anymore." And look, he literally just turned and walked off back into the darkness. He's like, "I literally have no use for you right now. Why are you even here?" And I was like, "'Cause I'm shooting a fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come here on my own."
Why are you here?
Yeah, you're here working, but your job entails getting hammered drunk.
Yeah. Oh, he was there with the act. Okay, I gotcha. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to imagine the musical acts for this, and I just imagine most of it was like "Take the Highway," a tribute to Marshall Tucker. And shit
No,
like that.
it wasn't
music
that good.
at this thing,
It wasn't
too?
that good. That's some. It's that. What it is that dirt road stuff.
Oh, Florida Georgia line. Yeah,
That's it,
Yeah.
and that's where it came from.
Oh,
Is
really?
all those mudding things. That's like Colt Ford is who I interviewed, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. And I did some research on the guy, and he writes a lot of that. You know,
shit country.
that
I don't know what
that
else to
bro
call it.
country
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
they call it. Like down on the dirt road, getting her drunk.
That-
ain't nobody around. I can do what I want.
Yeah,
you know.
we played that song because it's the one that sounds like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
on our episode we did with the Brothers. But
Which
yeah.
one?
That Dirt Road anthem. It's I think Jason Aldean does a version of it, but
That's
it's
he wrote that. That
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
I interviewed wrote that.
yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I didn't realize they had a concert connected
Well,
to this.
it's its own culture, is what it is.
Oh yeah, with Ludacris. I didn't know Ludacris was on the Jason
Yeah.
Aldean. Oh Jesus.
Ludacris will jump in anywhere, man.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
How
yeah.
much? Okay.
Although I will
Ludacris.
say, Ludacris is I call him the Jeff Goldblum of rap because he helps anything he's in.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This shit.
This is yes.
This is Colt Ford's song. I think.
Typical
I went and
George
toured
Jones
with the
reference
opposite
for
of this.
propers and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
exactly.
Totally.
You have to mention one of the old classic guys.
No, if
Make
you
it
have
look
to-
like you're not that
Proppers.
new kind of country.
Yeah, no.
Hey, if you have to mention another song in your song's probably shitty.
Oh yeah. Well, no. What's even worse is if you mention your own song titles in your song. That's called the Aerosmith rule. That means it's going to be really shitty.
Well, this is what I actually you could call it bro country. I would actually call this list country because there's certain songs where it's just a list of things. It's like I got my skull
No, that's
ring on my
Yeah.
this guy writes all that.
Yeah,
it's this.
and you interviewed him.
Yes, and then I had to introduce him to the people. It's on the thing.
What was his interview? Just like a list of things he's done.
I'm working on a new song, Cold Beer,
He
Yeti.
gets. Okay, let's put it this way, and I'm not being political here, but I am being political.
Yeah.
I don't care for what he does personally.
Yeah.
It is not in my taste, but I get what he's doing, and
Yeah.
he does it really well,
Yeah,
and
of course.
it's inspired, and he's speaking for a group of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's mantra more than music, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it's just the same thing over and over again. And that's what pop music is, but I can't stand it. It's also printing money, is what it is.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Because going around that thing, that's all you hear.
Yeah. Just the fucking.
Yes. Yes.
There's Ludacris.
Woman in bikinis, Kitty
Did
Rogers.
you say something like Kenny
It's
Rogers?
it's
Yeah.
that also that
It's a list.
that very confusing thing about the South. You'll hear this
Yeah.
at a campfire, and then you'll hear the N-word used not in this context.
Right.
Where you're like, I don't understand.
It's the product of being a biracial society.
Well, this is like it's funny because it's finally it's finally the nexus of like a thing that was going on when I was in high school where it was like dudes who listen to Big and Rich and Silk the Shocker and shit like that. It was a thing in my high school.
Yeah,
like
no.
redneck dudes like have like lifted trucks and shit like that. Love like hardcore rap and like bullshit country.
Because it's not okay, and that used to confuse the fuck out of me too.
yeah, it's weird.
I kind of figured it out on tour this fall. Is I'd see it with Sturgill's people. Is you'd see these people, and you could tell they were right away because they just stand out. You're like, what the fuck is this dude doing here?
right.
They don't listen to the words.
Yeah.
They listen to the sound and
Yep,
the
yep.
certain oomph. It's why people respond to Donald Trump so much.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
where
yeah.
he literally said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, yeah.
And you motherfuckers would still vote for me, pretty much as I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the kind of, they're like...
Actually, I think that's the exact quote, I think.
And everybody's like, because of the way you said it.
Yeah,
And then you could see them looking around at the concert and being like, where are my people at?
Right, right.
And then they start listening to the words, and they're like, shit.
Billy Wayne got to go open up for one of my favorite musicians out there right now is a country singer named Sturgill Simpson.
Every day I'm smoking my brain hazy. All I can do to keep from going crazy. But the paranoia slowly creeping in. Oh, I keep drinking myself silly on the way for this hellbilly. And I thank God for this here life of sin.
Got to see the show at the Ace Hotel in downtown LA.
That was cool.
You fucking killed it. It was awesome because I was, I heard that you were doing that. I was like, that's amazing. Also, how is this going to go? Because
you
nothing,
knew who I was too.
Well, I know who you were. Well,
most people did not.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I know who you were, and I knew that it was going to be, you were going to do well, but also just that thing of like, going to see a concert. You don't expect a comedian to come out first, and with a name like Billy Wayne Davis, frankly, it sounds like you're going to come out with a guitar.
Yeah,
and then you come out and start telling jokes. It's like, what's
ambush
this?
comedy.
But yeah, it almost is ambush comedy. But hell, man, it worked. It was really great. I was like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it because I know Billy. But I had a fucking blast at that show.
There were some nights where I used everything I've ever learned to keep it together. There's only like one night. It was in Salt Lake City where I was just like I came on stage talking, like telling someone to shut the fuck up, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Like I was walking, like, because Miles Miller, the drummer, who's like this 22-year-old phenom. Look him up; he's great. He would introduce me, and then he'd hand me the microphone, and I'd walk on stage.
Yeah.
So he introduced me, and this dude's already yelling shit, and like, I was like, this isn't. I was just. When I walked in the venue, I told the sound guy, I was like, this is gonna be bad.
No one's even in there yet.
Yeah. We were it was like right after sound check, and I was like, this is gonna be a nightmare for me.
What was wrong with it? Just like, it's
this place called The Complex in Salt Lake City, and it's a decent idea, but it's this huge warehouse.
Yeah.
And there's huge ceilings.
Yeah.
Everything's concrete as fuck. They've got those big curtains, like in a gymnasium, that separate stuff, trying to make different walls. Then there's this giant foyer. You go out the room we were in, and there's like a bathrooms and concession stand, and then on the other side is another giant warehouse venue where another rock show is happening.
Oh, like when they have like an indoor conference center and they just separate it by like putting those curtains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but there were two walls kind of separating, but they would separate the bar from the 21. Then they had a big, pretty much kind of a fence separating drinkers and non-drinkers.
What? This is insane.
So that's like, I saw all this going together. I was like, I can't.
Wait, and there was another show happening on the other side of the walls too?
So I go out, this giant bear of a human being man is just blah, blah, blah. And I go out, and Sturgill said he was in the back and could hear. He was like, I wasn't paying attention. He was like, and literally I heard them introduce you, and the first thing I heard you say is, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. He's like, so I sat up and like, this is going to be a good one. And they had the people that couldn't get drinks were a nightmare, but they were right in front of me. The people that were drinking were over here, a good 30 feet and to my left and back, separated by a fence.
Is that just like some weird like Mormon shit that they have to be like gated off like that?
It was, some weird like Southern bullshit.
It's Salt Lake, right?
Yes, like drinking rules.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not even... So they were fun.
Wonder what the hell was going on with that.
Oh yeah, Salt Lake City, man. They got
Yeah,
some
I guess
weird
so.
rules.
And
Yeah.
the percentage of beer is really
It's
low.
like 6 or something. So you have to drink
It's like
1,000 beers
It's
to
like
get drunk.
two
Yeah,
and
it's
a
two.
half.
It's 2.5, yeah.
It's baby beer.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was 6. Jesus,
You have to
2.5.
unless you go to like the government run package store, you can get the regular type.
Yeah.
But if you get it at like a grocery store or at a bar, 9 times out of 10,
So you
it's
just
like
have to drink
lower.
the whole case, basically.
Yeah.
So I ended like I did some jokes, and I could tell the people that were listening got it. I've done comedy in Salt Lake City. It's a very liberal, progressive city in this. It's like Austin or Athens,
Right, yeah.
circled around this fucking bullshit. But still, there was this one side, and then about 5 minutes in, where I almost had the crowd. The concert next door starts.
Oh shit.
So you just hear wow, wow, and then boom, 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 boom. Just enough where it's like if I got quiet and tried to do anything, you just boom,
yeah,
boom.
it fucks up everything.
And I started laughing, and I could see the sound guy. He knew what I was laughing at. Where I was like, oh, this is just a fucking nightmare. I'm going to do my 20 minutes that I'm contracted to do.
Right.
And I ended the set with Salt Lake City, thank you very much. A lot of you were really cool. Most of you should kill yourself. Not everybody. And like the band, like normally, like at that point, the band wasn't like watching most of the sets because they knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
But I came off and they were all standing there. I was like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? Like, no, that was awesome. That was awesome. This is going to suck for us. And it did. It was just, the complex was a nightmare.
Oh, my God.
It got us between gigs, I think, is more.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt,
Oh,
I just
sorry.
looked over at this Florida Georgia
what's
line
happening
video. This is
Oh,
this
they're
is
at the damn
not
Mudboggin
good.
place.
This is.
Oh yeah,
That was
shit.
my favorite thing,
Is that
too.
Tommy Lee?
I'm sure it is.
I haven't
that
watched
Tommy Lee?
CMT in a very long time, so I'm not familiar with this sort of stuff.
They don't play that on CMT.
Really?
They don't
used to
play
always-
videos on
all the
CMT.
CMT videos always had one part where the girl wearing a long dress spun around.
Oh, yeah.
and that was usually the best part of the
Well,
video.
this is a scantily
And then
clad.
like a chubby, like Joe Diffie type, like, come here, girl. And you're like, this ain't real.
And we wanna have fun, yeah. We cuss on them Mondays and pray on them Sundays.
We cuss on them Mondays.
Them Mondays.
he got his chronology
They are
backwards.
speaking for a large.
We hanging round.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is like the Southern lumpen proletariat's anthem.
He's had to take it all Marxist now, but I liked it.
We
I
love
liked it.
Jesus, but we still say the N word.
Actually, you know what, Revas? Didn't you have a theory? Because remember we were talking earlier about that stuff, like a thing featuring what was his name, Lil Wayne or Ludacris or one of them?
Ludicrous. Lil Wayne
yeah.
wouldn't
Well,
do
there,
this.
you also
Don't-
we
Yeah,
did
I
don't know
miss
one thing from another with
Don't
that
lump
stuff.
him in.
yeah we
Don't lump him
missed
in.
Florida Georgia line featuring Nelly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
if it's not who
that
did
was
it, if
going
it's
on
not
with
Del the Funky Homo Sapien, I really don't know much about it from hip hop.
Yeah.
But didn't you have a theory about rap and country being alike or something?
No, it's
in
the
a way?
same music.
Well, yeah,
it's the same.
It's the same. It's that like hip hop and country. The ethos is the same, which is the delicate balance of like the home place, like Jesus and Mama and all that kind of shit. Like and like being proud of where you're from versus like the temptations of the world, like alcohol and drugs and violence and shit like that. So it's it's the proletariat slowly tearing itself apart with its own
It's-
contradiction.
can I-
Man. But
Can
that's
I
why.
paraphrase that
Yes.
and articulate it a little better? Because
Yes.
it's because I've had the realization. Someone pointed out that my iTunes is like just straight country music, like Johnny Horton, Charlie Pride, fucking Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
or like this dirty South.
Trick Daddy and shit like that.
No, I like Trick. He's fine.
Yeah.
but like 3-6 Mafia,
Yeah.
Outcast, this like stripped down certain, and then the rock music I like is the same kind of shit where it's this, and what it is blues music.
Yeah,
At its
essentially.
essence, it is art. It is struggling artists. That's why it all comes from. That's why it's so good coming from a certain region. It's like that Bakersfield sound in country music.
Right.
Is like the West Coast, And
Which
then you
nobody
got the-
appreciates out
No.
here.
Yeah.
Because
No, they
every
don't
time I talk
understand
about
it.
Bakersfield, they just talk about what a dump it is. And I'm like, don't you
is.
realize it's musical history?
By the way,
Well, yeah,
guys,
no, and they have,
And they're all going to seek a fortune there with the
Yeah.
fucking oil. They don't. People are fucking stupid.
and then there's a weird mixture in Bakersfield of the people that came over there, and then also there's a lot of Basque people that are there, and
Really?
so there's
Okay.
like the Basque musicians that are there, and there's actually
is that what
interesting-
corn is? Are they count as Basque?
They're not from the Pyrenees, I don't think.
Well, you know what I found out. I talked to somebody from Bakersfield, and now we have to go. There is a corn street in Bakersfield with the R flipped sideways
of course,
and stuff.
yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that? It's on. Here. One of my favorite things when I'm on the road is I love to watch preachers and televangelists. It's beautiful.
I watch that shit all the
They're
time.
fucking. Some of them are real good. But there was one. It was the bass player or somebody, guitar player for Korn.
Oh, Head.
Head, Brian
And-
Welch.
and he is like he's really into Jesus now.
Yeah.
And it's like a documentary about him. And I was stoned as shit, and I was like, this was made for me in this moment. Because it's just the most cliche things you've ever, like, there was so much drugs and pussy, and like I couldn't handle it, and I was just like I'm like, yeah, no one can handle that. But then like Jesus was his way. And they're doing a lot of drugs, and you're like, yeah, man, you're a rock star. That's
what you do.
it's
This is the one I saw today.
I'll take it if he doesn't want it.
This guy is like the fucking Dane Cook of preachers. He's got this. It's just don't stop pounding.
And again, and again, and again, and again. Don't stop pounding now. I know you're doing pretty good. I know you're going to heaven when you die. I know things are going pretty good in your ministry. I know that you're doing better than most people. I know you've already come a long way, but there's more victory in store.
You remember that guy on Sesame Street that would bang his head against the piano?
Stop pounding.
it all fascinates me because it's a lot of rhythm that they're using.
Oh,
It's not
totally.
what they're saying.
I mean, this
It's
guy's literally banging a microphone and getting
the
whole people
making
to
the
clap.
murderer prosecutor. What's his name? Kratz.
Oh yeah. Ken Kratz.
The way he speaks to the jury and the way he was handling the media, that's the tone and stuff he was using, because it's really smart. What I think he was doing, especially that part of the country, is all they go to church. That's their authority since they grow up, talks like that.
Yeah.
So they respond subconsciously that's how authority talks, is like, well, and you guys, I'm just going to talk to you like this, all right?
Yeah,
You know,
he
I'm
turns
just
turns the chair backwards and sits
just
in
like,
it.
I'm going to get real with you guys.
Yeah.
Stephen Avery did it. There's no... He's a bad dude. He comes from a bad family. He did it, is horrendous. And just, that's why he won.
That's why he got, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Because the other guys are like, making very like logic based, arguments.
Well, the other people came with
and,
facts.
Yeah, exactly.
And people don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no, they want
They want a story.
Well, yeah, it's built into. I mean, even when historians talk about like Huey Long was definitely like that. Whenever he did speeches, he would be slosh drunk, but it was like that very authoritative. I'm going to tell you a story, sort of way of putting it forth. Where there was
a
rhythm.
German guy good at it too.
Oh, Benny Hinn. Benny Hinn.
Benny Hinn's not a German, I don't think.
I thought he was German.
I'm sure there's lineage there somewhere. One of the funniest things I've ever seen to this day, and I'm in comedy, is I was at Cornerstone Church in Nashville, which is like one of those mega churches.
That's the satellite churches, right?
I don't know if I'm sure at this point he's got shit going on.
Oh, okay.
Maury Davis, he was in jail for murder. But his story's real good.
Okay.
Like the first I was dating this girl, she's like, "You gotta come hear it," and then he did the thing, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna check this place
We're
out."
definitely going. Yeah.
And she went a lot, and then it was fascinating to me because it just created this culture and community. Is what he was doing. And then one day, this woman stood up in the middle of him speaking and started speaking in tongues. and you could tell it bugged the fuck out of him. It was one of my favorite moments ever because she stood up and she was like, "Asamahalama, asamahalama," and he was like speaking, and you could see his body language. You could just see he was like, yes, God is good. God is good.
Yeah, totally.
God blesses you. God blesses you.
Sit
Sit
the
back
fuck down.
And he said, "Sit back down," and she sat back down. And I was
Untie
like,
my bow tie. Who stole my Honda?
"Oh God!" It was yes.
Is that speaking in tongues? Who
Yeah.
untie my bow tie, who stole my Honda?
Yeah, that's how you do it if you have to fake. Untie my bow tie. Who stole my Honda? You just say that over and over again.
A Blake Clark character.
But I know, I tell you this, though, this is the problem I'll say with speaking in tongues. All right, the apostles, Pentecost, they're speaking in the tongues.
Tongues of fire.
But they were,
lashing them,
but
yeah.
I always reading the Bible myself. I always assumed they were speaking in known languages so that they could preach the gospel
Yeah,
to all the
that's
places
what it
in the
was.
world,
No,
not made
it's
up
exclusive.
languages about Hondas. and
It's
things
exclusive. God speaks to that's the ego play that gets them. Is God speaking to you
Like that. Yeah.
through you individually right now to all these people in a way that no one can understand?
But I don't think it's scripturally. accurate.
I think your problem with all of it is you approached religion with the logical mind.
Are you not supposed to do that?
I don't. I think for it to actually, I think that's what the brothers in the Matrix are trying to say is like there's a blue pill and there's a red pill. You either go with that or you just keep finding facts and be like,
I'll take the one that gives me a buzz.
I think that's the.
I think that's the C
blue
pill,
one, right?
which is like yoga.
I don't do that shit. I can do the corpse pose real good, but that's about it.
But the thing that you were talking about, Billy, about the kind of like blues music being the root of, rap, country, and that's
Rock and roll.
Yeah. But I think one of the things that's kind of interesting about kind of that crossover with rap and country is that, one, it's good time music. Usually the stuff that kind of crosses over within kind of...
You mean crosses over into like popular?
Yeah. Is that there's that good time element of it that's kind of consistent, but also there's that authenticity element in there that's kind of contrived in a way. Where a lot of
how can you say authenticity and contrived in the same?
Well, it's produced like the authenticity, the sense of authenticity,
Contrived authenticity.
where it's like it's produced in a way where it's like this is an authentic experience or reflects an authentic.
Can you give me an example?
I think a better example of that is blues music. How people understand blues being a certain set of experiences and a certain set of sounds, and it gets so divorced from it that when you go to a blues bar, there is a production of what the authentic blues is. That's not necessarily attached.
Well, that's
to...
not authentic.
It's not. It's not authentic.
It starts
but people
to be
understand
defined by
it.
its structure, so people feel that there's a certain pattern it has to adhere to make it blues
Authentic,
musically.
yeah.
So it can't be a living thing anymore because it has to fit a certain pattern to be what it is.
Yes, there is the authentic version, and then, like anything else, when money becomes involved and there's an investment, what people do is take that one thing that represents and is this voice of usually the downtrodden or something deep and sad, as they're giving voice to that, is someone comes in, and this is where capitalism comes in, and takes that visceral thing that artists create that is evoking emotion from other human beings, and then what they do is they go, oh, cool, I want to take that and use it because these people like this, and I can sell them this with this
it becomes
thing.
unidimensional.
Yeah, it's the motherfucker on the video going, listening to some George Jones, chilling, and you're like, George Jones
we cuss
is the real
on a
deal.
Monday.
It's manipulating emotions, is what you're saying.
And those kind of things align with certain, going back to like say why Donald Trump is so popular. Where it's like he tells it like it is. He's an outsider, even though he's somebody that is objectively not an outsider. He's very much part of the elite.
I thought it was just because he was funny.
Yeah,
I think he is using it for publicity because every time he does it,
No.
His brand goes up.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a smart businessman,
Yeah.
whether you like his
It's great
personality.
entertainment.
And then I think he just keeps saying crazy shit,
Yeah, yeah,
literally.
yeah.
And he doesn't want to be president.
No,
and
that's
he
what's
keeps
crazy.
saying crazier shit, thinking one day this is going to stop and everybody will be like,
But
that
it's
was funny.
the joke isn't.
It's
And
like the
I
joke
think-
that won't end.
No
no,
one's
I
laughing.
think that no,
Yeah.
and he wakes up every day. He's like, I'm gonna end up having to say like women shouldn't work or some crazy
Yeah,
shit where
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
eventually. He's like, but right now. Everything I say is rewarded.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
think he wakes up every morning like, I hope it's today that people are like, enough.
Yeah,
But it's not. And this is where this is where everyone's going to see why the Electoral College was put in place.
I always thought it was a good thing.
It's a great thing. As someone that has spent the last decade touring
Yeah.
the country,
Yeah.
the Electoral College is a good thing.
See, we proved it here tonight.
It is a good thing because this is what happens.
Those guys knew what they were doing when they wrote
Yes.
the Constitution.
Yes, because they
You don't need mob rule. They might do something stupid.
look at the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at Twitter. That is mob rule. That is mob rule, and look what happens.
Yeah.
The greasy masses can't be trusted to everything.
Not with everything.
No, I'll say this, though. I would be much less scared of a Trump presidency than ever another Bush. So it's all gravy as far as I'm concerned.
and it's still a figurehead position if you want to
And
look
it's
down
weird
to it.
because he's still, despite being absolutely repulsive, he's still more likable than Ted Cruz.
He is.
Like he's the
He's
one of the
entertainment.
The interesting part to me is how Bernie's gonna, because he is moving the people, and we've seen with like the Arab Spring and things like that the internet can move and motivate a large percentage of
Yeah.
people.
Oh, totally.
And
Yeah.
I've been having this conversation with people and a lot of women, and they get mad at me because I'm like, Hillary's not the one. She's not the one. I understand there needs to be a woman, and I agree.
Yeah, totally.
But y'all don't have that choice this year because her pockets are deep and dirty because of the game she's been playing for 30 years.
Yeah.
She's not in control anymore.
Well, I'd agree with that. But also, when I do see her, I'm like, well, at least.
I still think she's going to get it.
Well, she's
though.
going to get it. It's funny because
I want to see, because if it comes down to another Electoral College, Bernie Sanders
Yeah.
for the people thing,
Yeah.
that's when it's going to get messy.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Well, and Bernie's the guy I want, but I'd watch.
That'll be the people versus the powers that be.
Exactly.
In a very clear.
Well, and it's funny because Trump is, as far as like the mentality of people, is very similar to Trump in that people like to see this guy as an outsider and he won't take shit from people. But
Well,
it's for
he said
but it's for
some
different.
racist
So you're
shit.
saying
Well,
it's
no,
like
but
it's
it's
like
for
rap and
different-
country. It's the same thing, but it's two different sides of the coin.
Well, no. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but
well, it's not when it's
well, no,
the real
but the
thing.
difference is Bernie Sanders is George Jones, and Donald Trump is the guy saying chilling on some dirt roads. You know what I mean? Bernie Sanders is an actual.
Well, nobody
outsider,
thinks Trump is a real political
whereas Trump is
candidate.
just like playing this part.
But he's
Yeah.
entertainment.
Oh my god, the whole thing is fucking crazy. But anyway, it's getting ridiculous.
Did you think you were going to get an election this entertaining, especially after that last one, Pat? I think you called it boring a number of times, but this year
it's
a ride.
well, I mean, again, it's entertaining, but it's getting scarier and scarier.
Well, you got to have a little bit of thrills in there.
Yeah, it's definitely thrills, that's for sure. But no, I mean, I said this
As long as there's no Bush on a ballot, I always feel I don't have near as much to worry about.
Yeah, well, I said this on Twitter, and I think it's true. Hillary Clinton is going to win in the largest landslide in U.S. history, and no one will be happy. That's what's going to happen.
So it's like WWE then.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's like the Roman Reigns.
She really
of
is the
politics.
Roman Reigns of politics. That's a perfect
We've
example.
really been analytical here tonight.
We've
Yeah.
really done it. But yeah, no, that's exactly right.
I don't know. I think the Bernie thing's very interesting.
Oh no,
Oh, yeah.
I want him to win, but I'm also just like it's going to be Hillary and everybody. Everyone's going to be.
I think
pissed.
one of the things that's interesting about the Bernie and Hillary dynamic is that how quickly the harmony has frayed. Because if you looked at those early debates, there wasn't much friction between the two because at the time the Republican Party, and still is a complete just mess.
Yeah.
Well,
There
in
was
the
the thing
beginning,
at the beginning, it was
polite.
Yeah, everything was
Because
polite.
you don't want to come out as the bad guy.
And there was a sense of like, okay, this party's not dysfunctional right now. There is a degree of, and then it just kind of diverged. And I think it's very interesting to see those divergent points where Bernie is definitely situating himself.
Well, I think what happens with that is not necessarily the candidates or their positions. I think the media needs to produce a story every
Oh yeah, absolutely.
day.
It's the
so
race.
they run out of one, and then they need to pit these two off a word they've said here and there, and it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's the horse race dynamic of covering these races, where it's just like these kind of narratives have to be built in because, as you said, you have to sustain
the way
story.
People gather information has changed.
Yeah,
and
totally.
the problem is if everyone would look at it analytically or just step back with some perspective about how they make other decisions, it's very simple. You just go to each candidate's website and they lay out their policies.
Oh yeah.
All the information is right there now. And everyone knows that theoretically and could find that information, but they don't want to.
Right.
There's a better way, and I'm smarter, and I'll figure it out, and I'll just type on this, and there's a quicker way. When there's not, it's all misinformation if you don't go find it for yourself.
It's an interesting time to be alive, just because all of the information ever is at everyone's fingertips, and what people have chosen to do with it is mostly stupid.
It's if you listen.
Well, I was
to people,
about to say, if
clear.
all the information ever is out there, how can I not find episodes of Thunder the Barbarian on YouTube? But like you say, the things that people do with it are stupid.
Stupid.
Because that's the first thing I was looking for. Is shit. Can I watch Thunder the Barbarian now?
Well, it's on.
Might
there.
be on Daily Motion.
It's on.
Could
there.
be on something like that.
It's all on there.
Yeah, it's all on there somewhere. But I mean, I know, all of us coming from where we come from, we've definitely got people, that we're Facebook friends with back home where you're just like, oh God, how can you be this dumb?
Not I. I hide myself too well on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I don't have anybody I went to school with as a
They'll
kid
find
bothering
you.
me or
They'll
nothing
find you.
like that.
Yeah.
I'll find you.
Not yet. And if they do, I ain't adding them. Nothing personal, folks, but it's not for that.
Yeah.
It's just for booking things.
I've just come to the realization that it's just like, if people want to do something, they want to do it. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
But a lot of people...
Oh, yeah. I learned that shit booking comedy shows. Sometimes people just don't want to go out.
Oh, yeah. Well, and
can't
that
get
makes
people
no
out.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... they don't... Comedy's a really weird one. It is a lot of hype involved because most people don't use this.
Yeah.
So they don't know when to laugh or they don't know why something's funny. And it's not their fault. They don't have time to be like,
right.
What's the new hip thing and all that. It's
well, also people are so trained with like screens and stuff that like when you have a live performer in front of you, people just like almost don't know what to do anymore. It seems like it's like,
oh, that's
It's like, dude, I am not a YouTube video. Don't fucking talk.
But they, and I will give most human beings credit, they do recognize good.
That's true. Yeah.
They might not realize what they're looking at, but they shut up and stare at it and then later realize more so. I think with the way people consume things now, and this is what I'm banking on for my career personally, the way I choose to do things is if you put out that quality product, it will be rewarded in the long run.
Yes.
But it takes a while.
Yeah, short term's going to be hard.
Yes, because it's not made for that instant consumption.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've had to accept that I don't make a lot of stuff for like that quick. Because so many people do. And then one of my favorite things to watch is like on Twitter is when something like my favorite, the last one I did was Ride Along 2. I just saw someone tweeted, do I have to see Ride Along 1 to understand Ride Along 2?
Yeah.
So I searched that phrase and just retweeted it, and it was just so many thousands of people making that same fucking joke. Just every fucking, it's like, there you go. That's why you can't.
Yeah.
It's quick consumption.
I might have told this story on the show, but I had a friend who was living in Alaska. It's one of my closest friends, and I hadn't spoken to him for like 6 months because he'd been living out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally calls me one day, and I was like, it was from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered it, and I was like, hello? And he goes, hey, man, what's going on? I was like, oh, shit, man, it's so good to hear from you. How's Alaska going? He's like, it's good. I just got a quick question. I can't talk long. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, hit me. And he goes, do I have to see Big Mama's House 1 to understand Big Mama's House 2? And he was dead fucking serious. And I was like, no, Martin Lawrence is dressed up like an old lady. It's pretty much all you need to know. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks, man. And I was like, what the fuck?
Why did he contact you specifically?
I don't fucking know. But what's crazy, my mom is like a huge Martin Lawrence fan, and I am like 99% sure he and I saw Big Mama's House 1 with my mom back in the day. Like, so I was like, I think you've seen it. The only difference with the second one is Paul Giamatti's not in it because he was doing Sideways at that point. That's pretty much the only difference.
He has an interesting early career.
Paul Giamatti?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's all like weird garbage kid movies and stuff.
But he's like great in all of them.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, this guy's real good. We should do stuff with him.
I got an I-town pistol on a graveyard train, shooting tombstone bullets, riding balls and chain. I'm drinking tea, I'm smoking down a mic. I hope some screwball start a fight because I'm ready as anybody can be. I am ready for you. I hope you're ready for me.
I could tell when I saw you in LA, it was later in the tour, and kind of the way you were on stage, I was like, oh, he has dealt with some shit, because you were so sleek and good on stage. I was like, oh, you must have been dealing with like some wild shit.
Oh, yeah, because those theater shows like that, when you're seated and ready to go, that's cake.
Those are great, yeah.
I get to perform, which is really, really fun, and they let me do what I do. But then there's like other shows. A lot of them were standing room only, bigger rock venues.
Yeah,
those were fun. Some of them are really fun. Some are really hard.
Yeah,
I always won in the end. The Tabernacle was a little rough the first night, and then we went back because some stuff happened. We had to cancel a couple of shows.
Yeah,
and the second tour, like I went back. We had to reschedule, and like, you don't have to come do these, And I was like, no, I'm going back.
Yeah, totally.
And they were like, oh, you went? I was like, yeah, fuck those people. I need to.
It's time. I'm going to go back and win.
I need to show them what was up.
Yeah.
And but there was also, realized there was an element of people didn't realize what I was doing immediately, and then there was always about 5 or 10 minutes in, I could hear people in the crowd at the standing room, where I'd hear like just somebody randomly like, "Oh shit, this guy's like good," and just that kind of like, "Oh," and then
hey, we should all listen.
And then there'd be a moment where I'd pause usually, and if I could hear everybody, it would just get quiet. Then I'd be like, "Oh, you guys are fucked. I got you."
Yeah,
and I wouldn't let them go. And those are tricks you learn. Just like you speed up. Like I wasn't being real subtle in some of those shows where I like to be at a club or in an intimate setting where you play with silences and stuff like that. But there was none of that. And every now and then, this was the heckle, and I lost it a little bit, but I ended up getting some good laughs out of it. It was the last show in Atlanta, the last show of the tour, and I had they were great.
Yeah.
And I was even getting to be subtle because they were just quiet for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The whole place was into what I was doing.
I love that venue. I've never seen comedy there, but
it's tough to do comedy there.
Yeah,
I'd imagine. Yeah,
especially when it's not set up for comedy; it's set up for rock and fucking roll coming on after you.
And by the way, for anyone listening that doesn't know, the Tabernacle, if you've seen Bill Burr's most recent special, the one he did in black and white, he shot that at the Tabernacle in Atlanta.
There's no chairs when I'm performing there. It's
just It's just people standing.
Yes,
concert style.
And I had them, and I was doing this one thing, and it was for some reason the asshole. And this happened a lot on the tour, where just every now and then a drunk dude would just be like, "Where's Sturgill?" And that was like the last one where I was like, all right. I was like, he's coming out, you dumb piece of shit. I was like, do you not understand? Do you think like he's going to hear you say that backstage and be like, shit, I need to go out there right now. I need to. I was like, you're a dumb motherfucker. I was like, that's what people outside of the South don't realize is Squidbillies is a documentary. Shut the fuck up. And the place went nuts. And that dude, I could see him just quietly slump. And a cool side note was Dave Stone was there, and he does stuff with Squidbillies, and the creator of Squidbillies was in the audience. I was like, oh, that was awesome. That was a cool shout out to Squidbillies. And Dave was like, you knew he was going to be there. Did you plan that? And I was like, I did not. But when it happened, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Glad that worked out. So if you're listening, Dave Willis, I would love to be on Squidbillies.
My dreams are all dead and buried. Sometimes I wish the sun would just explode. When God comes and calls me to his kingdom, well, I'll take all you sons of bitches when I go.
My turn.
Hey, on.
Hey, man, let me drive that thing. Come on.
Touch the train.
Billy, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
You can't find me on BillyWayneDavis.com because someone owns that site and wants like
Oh, you got a squatter on it.
like $2,800.
It could be, to be fair, it could be another Billy Wayne Davis.
No,
Nope, just some asshole.
It's a company is what it is because
Really?
they want $2,800.
Jesus.
I don't care.
How long ago did they register this thing?
I owned it and let it lapse.
And then they snatched it
And
up.
they deliberately did it to fuck you?
Yeah, that's
but
what
I'm
they do.
sure
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
asshole.
That happened to our college radio station. Somebody,
shit.
Somebody took WEGL.com and is like sitting on it for like $8,000, and they were like shaking down Auburn University. I was like, "Fuck you guys! They don't give us anything."
Well, somebody did that to the Cowboys recently.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
that I'm in favor of.
That was like they let it lapse and like I guess they can.
Someone-
Well, yeah, but they can pay for it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm
But
fine
Just
with
like
that.
regular people and shit in school.
My
Yeah.
friend was saying like that there's like if I contact there's a process where what they're doing is kind of illegal.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like everything is probably kind of illegal when it comes to money. Like that's what it seems like. Oh, did you make money? You probably did something illegal.
Yeah.
Look, you made money on the internet, you probably did.
Did you make money and you didn't work at all? Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
and
illegal.
it was really easy.
Which I could figure out
Yeah,
how
it's
to do
really
that.
easy for you.
Yeah.
Patent trolling is always good.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's essentially what it is.
Same
There
sort
was-
of deal.
I knew a dude, and I think he ended up going to jail for something else shady, pervy. But I remember thinking, like, he was buying domains. Like, this was, like, in early 2000s. He's like, man, I'll flip them. People need these names. You just go in. It's real smart. I was like, that seems...
Yeah.
I shit you not, there's a guy out there, I read this, he owns milk.com, and he's been offered millions for it, but he's got plenty of money, so he just...
That's like
Doesn't sell it.
a funny thing. Yeah.
This is true.
Milk.com.
Milk,
I'm sure
not
the milk lobby would love to have that.
Well, they would. They offered him like $5 million or something, and he just said no. It was just like his site that he started like at the beginning of the internet or some shit, and he's just sitting on this thing and says he doesn't need the money. I'd spend the money for the day. I'd take that milk
I was
money.
going to say you should start
if
a
you
bidding
will.
war between like
The National Dairy Board.
between the
Yeah.
Dairy
Yeah.
Board and PETA.
My buddy Dan Steinberg's a concert promoter out of Seattle. He's a funny dude. He's a good concert promoter too. He was so hip to Twitter. His handle is the Jew. That's amazing.
That's early jumping on it.
The Jew.
That's-
That makes me laugh every time I see it.
My email is saverivers@gmail.com because I got Gmail like the week it came out, and the like Alabama Rivers Alliance, that's who I stole the slogan from. I had a bumper sticker on my car that said Save Rivers, and that's where I stole it from. And they've hit me up before. They're like, "You sure you don't want to give us that?" I was like, "Nope."
Give it.
So
to you.
you're guilty too, Rivers.
I mean, whatever.
Should have sold it to him.
You should have
Anyway,
sold it.
do you got a Tumblr or something?
I have a Tom. Yeah, just I own like BillyWayneDavis.us and all that. So if you just Google
Hell yeah.
Billy Wayne Davis, all that Twitter and Instagram and all that comes up.
And if Billy's in your town, go see him for love
Yeah,
of
do you
God.
have any shows coming up, Billy?
We're working on a tour probably in March and April and
Because
May.
you were just in Alaska, right?
Yes.
How was that?
That's my 6th time. I go up there once a year. It's my little paradise. I do
Yeah.
a show once
Even this
a night.
time of year?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. It's great.
Really? Wow. Hell yeah.
That's when you get some mileage out of the Yeti.
Yeah, well, I didn't think to
That's right. Yeah.
do all that, but yeah, it's just special up there. It's one of my
beautiful-
favorite places.
Where did you go in Alaska?
I always go to Anchorage and Chilkoot Charlie's, and then just do different stuff during the day when I'm there, and then it's real chill, and quiet. It's a nice vacation / I get to go work on a certain muscle.
God, well, I bet doing comedy because I mean, shit, how many people go there regularly? Like as far as comics go, I mean,
There's a.
I'm sure there's a scene there, but
think
touring comics must not go through there too much. So
I think they have comedy once a month.
Yeah,
and they've
so
been doing it for years. I mean, this is my 6th time.
that's awesome. So they're probably stoked to
Yeah.
see like a touring comic like actually. come up there.
Sometimes, it's a weird kind. They're a weird breed up there.
Oh yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
Everybody I know who has moved up there is all my weird friends from Alabama. Yeah, all lived in Alaska at some point.
And there's a lot of running from things.
Bears.
People figuring. No, I mean just like existential things.
Yeah, and bears.
And then government agencies.
right. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the jokes I have is like that you guys, you have a commercial for criminals on the National Geographic Channel.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Because it says, here's Alaska. There's 1 trillion acres, a bazillion acres. And here are their state troopers. This is Tom, and this is Ralph.
There's 6 of them.
And they have to wait to get the plane in order to bust any sort of crimes.
And then they have to get in a boat to get across the river to the plane. And then get on
Come here
and hope the dogs are tired.
Just come here and do crimes.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes.
I remember seeing Cops Alaska, and there was the crimes and stuff, but most of the show was taken up by the journey to get to the village or the other side.
So they didn't have
of
sled
town.
by shootings or anything like that.
I
that
mean,
they
it
had
was
to
just
deal
like
with?
some guy tried to rob a video store. Somebody was really drunk at their house.
It's usually alcohol related.
Yeah.
It's usually because most people are very friendly there.
Yeah.
Because being outside can kill you. Just being outside.
Yeah.
The wind can kill you.
Yeah.
And not to mention the weird, 20 hours at night thing and the 20 hours a day thing during the summer that just throws people
and
off.
the animals.
Yeah.
And then, the elements and the people. Yeah, it's you have to be alert when you're there. But it's unlike any place I've ever been.
It sounds kind of like fun.
It's my favorite place on the planet I've ever been.
But yeah, at Billy Wayne Davis on Twitter.
And visit Alaska.
Yeah, I'll be in
visit
Austin April 1st and 2nd. I know that for sure.
Austin, go.
Austin at the Velveeta Room.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got listeners in Austin. Go see this man at Velveeta Room on April Fool's Day. Well, thanks for joining us, Billy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm glad
man.
we made this happen.
Absolutely. You can follow us on Twitter at The Goods Pod, Facebook.com/The Goods Pod. Rate and review on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. Tell everybody what you like about the show. That helps our rankings, helps get the word out about the show. Also, just tell your friends. If you really enjoy this show, tell a friend. They might enjoy it too. Song of the week this week comes from John Moreland, fantastic artist out of Oklahoma. Put out a record last year called High on Tulsa Heat. It's one of my favorites. And this song is called Sad Baptist Rain. And from all of us here at The Goods from the Woods, get well soon, Bret Hart.
Well, baby, lay down your price break poems while I sit and mumble at your feet. Am I a stone or a stone kid dreaming up a closet full of crumbled tea? Young and hungry, dark blue and clumsy, dumb enough to let you go. Outside the show, drinking NyQuil and honey, trying to conjure up some rock and roll. You're the exception, I'm the rule. I trade love for a song like a fool. I'm always drawn to the wrong thing to do, and I keep proving it. Well, the sky came apart with my guilt-stricken heart. Baby, break me down, break me up. And we'll let freedom ring while the blacktop sings and the sad Baptist rain for us. Well, you're the exception, I'm the rule. I traded love for a song like a fool. I'm always drawn to the wrong thing to do, and I keep moving it.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.